Exactly what I said needed to happen happened, and they won the game. That's step two of our 9 step program to make the playoffs. Let's get into this. Fin fans, thanks for coming and checking out the channel. Welcome to it. The Dolphins just won. They beat the Steelers. It was 34-19, which is almost exactly what I called for the playoff for the game to end at. I called 37-14. Close enough. Point is in my preview for this game, every single thing that I said needed to happen happened. They did exactly what I suggested. I mean, I'm not like the coach of the Dolphins, obviously, but everything that I said needed to happen in order for them to win this game happened. They did it exactly like I suggested, and it makes me feel good, not, to toot my own horn too much, but it makes me feel good to know that I knew exactly what needed to happen and that my football sense isn't totally devoid of intellect. So, let's get into these stats. Let's talk about this game. Man, I'm stoked. I'm not going to say that we're going to make the playoffs and things are perfect, but we did what we needed to do to win this game, and it was a fantastic game to watch. Now, first of all, let's get into the. Let me see here. Let me touch one thing real quick. First of all, somehow the Jets lost the game against the Colts. They let it slip. I thought for sure after that last go-ahead touchdown that the Jets had, I thought that they were going to win that game. It turns out the Colts answered back and finished that game 28-27. It just went final. So I guess congrats to the Colts. I was kind of hoping the Colts would lose that game just because of playoff scenarios and things like that, but whatever. Uh, Looked like it was a good game. I'll have to go check on the highlights for that one. Also, the Patriots ended up losing to the Rams. Um, I kind of expected that. 28-22. Looks like the Patriots made a little bit of a comeback there near the end, but it wasn't enough to beat the Rams. So we have the Bills playing the Chiefs later on today. I would love to see the Bills lose that game, and I was kind of saying that I figured the Chiefs are going to win that game, but I would like the Bills to lose that. I would like the Bills to lose that game. Not just what I think is going to happen, but I would like to see it as well. You got to love the weeks where you have a chance for every team in your division to lose, except for yourselves. So let's see what happens with that game. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait to watch it. And I'm not going to watch it go and lose. Bills lose, but who knows? I mean, it's going to be a pretty decent game to watch. Uh, let's get into looking at some of these stats for this Dolphins game. Uh, let's get through this. Gardner Minshew actually had a really good game, and I'm not going to talk too much smack on Minshew. He played pretty well, except for the one interception that he threw there near the end when he needed to have a first down pass to keep the drive going, and he ended up throwing it straight to Mr. Jalen Ramsey with a nice little pick there at the end of the game, sealing it up for Miami. That was one of the things I said needed to happen is we needed to have an interception. Bam, there it was, and it was the one to seal the game. So, well done, Mr. Jalen Ramsey. Gardner Minshew was 30 of 43 for 269 and 2 touchdowns and the 1 pick. So, had a pretty decent game there. His rating was 93.5. For our quarterback, Mr. Tua Tagovailoa, Mr. Uno, 28 of 36 for 288 yards. 3 touchdowns with a 127.8 rating. I'll take it. That was a beautiful game by Tua Tagovailoa. Very, very accurate. Very great game. Awesome to see him do well like that. Also great to see Tyreek get in the end zone again and to see Jonnu Smith get not just one, 2 touchdowns. Fantastic game played by both of them. Rushing, we had 82 yards of rushing. Devon Achane, 17 carries for 73 yards and 1 touchdown. Great game by Devon Achane. Malik Washington kind of had an game. but he's a receiver. He had one carry for 7 yards, so not a bad touch there. Jalen Wright, 5 carries for 4 yards. He did not have a great game today, and that's one thing I thought he was going to have a good time today running, especially since we almost exclusively ran between the tackles and punched him in the mouth, like exactly what I said needed to happen in my preview for this game. But most of the punching in the mouth was done by Devon Achane, and I'm not even going to complain about that. He ran a good hard run game. He played well. Devon Achane was good in the air and on the ground, and I just love to see it. Even if it's only 75 yards, those 75 yards were between the tackles, and it was great to see him do that. Um, Great blocking by our offensive line today, and I can't stress that enough. I said that our O line needed to step up, and they stepped up. Our O line played fantastic football today. There was a penalty on Aaron Brewer. Um, I think it was in the second half there. There was one penalty on him. The Dolphins only had 4 penalties the entire game. They played clean football again, and you gotta love it. Well, like I said, when you have a clean game like this and you play as well as they did today, you're gonna have wins start coming up in that win column for us, and that's what happened. Um, Passing. For the passing, like I said, I already covered Tua's stats, but I want to touch on one thing here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 different receivers in this game. Tua threw to 9 different catchers and ball catchers in this game. I love it when Tua spreads the ball around. And I also said that in this game that Miami needed to pass between the numbers over the middle of the field. And if you go look at this game and look at the passes and where the passing chart went, all the passes where they would end up on the field, it was all in the middle of the field. I said that we weren't going to have those huge long passes down the field. This is not the game for that, and it wasn't. This was one of those games where Tua needed to pick the defense apart, and he did exactly that. And in the fourth quarter there with 3 minutes to go, and this is why now when the Raiders called that, they always like to call those zero blitzes where there's nobody except for one person on each receiver, no safeties, everybody's blitzing. That's when we were going to have our chances. And of course, Jonnu Smith slipped out right in the middle of the field. Nobody around him, completely uncovered, unrecognized. And that was our third touchdown for the day. And that was one of those plays that put the game away. So, like I said we needed to put the ball in the middle of the field, and we needed to take advantage of the weak defense that the Raiders have in the middle of the field. And that's exactly what we did. And look what happened. 280 yards passing, 3 touchdowns for Tua. 2 to Jonnu Smith and 1 to Tyreek Hill. Fantastic game. Jonnu Smith finished with 6 catches for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. What a game. What a game. Jonnu Smith played amazing. Tyreek Hill, 7 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 2 catches for 37 yards. Devon Achane, 4 catches for 32 yards. So Devon Achane was over 100 yards, all-purpose yards again. Fantastic game for him. He also had 1 rushing touchdown too, by the way. Odell Beckham, 2 catches for 13 yards, and those 2 catches were on third down when we needed the yardage. Odell Beckham had a good game, and this is what you want from Odell Beckham. You want Odell Beckham to have these plays when we gotta have it. He's gonna be able to catch that ball if you put it in his vicinity, and that's what happened. Fantastic. I can't even complain about any of this. Durham Smythe even had a catch. Holy cow. Jalen Wright, 1 catch for 2 yards. So the point is that we had a lot of different passes. Julian Hill had 2 catches for 28. We had 1 fumble by Tua. It wasn't lost. It was recovered by our team. So Tua's got to clean that up. When he tries, sometimes he'll try to make things happen, and in the scramble he'll kind of lose protection of the ball, and bam, he'll put it on the ground. But I will say that with that fumble when he was trying to extend a play, he extended 6 other plays by doing the same thing, and it worked out fantastic for us. So I'm not going to pick too much on that fumble. I will say I hope he cleans it up, and I guarantee you that Tua is going to be the first one in his press conference after the game here to say that he needs to clean that up. So not just say it, but hopefully he does it. Jordan Brooks had 12 tackles. Anthony Walker had 10. Jordan Poyer had 6 tackles. Great game by Jordan Poyer. I wanted to say that because some people think that I was picking on him a little too hard, and maybe I was. But Jordan Poyer played a great game today. 6 tackles, 5 unassisted. Fantastic game for him. Kader Kohu, 5 tackles. Good game by Cater. He had one kind of slip up at the end of the game there, trying to stop a guy from getting a first down at the end of the game, and he kind of shot in to make a hard hit instead of just facing up, breaking down, and making a tackle and letting him get a couple yards. It probably would have been better for him to break down and make a straight up tackle instead of trying to launch and make a hard hitting tackle. But like I said, I'm splitting hairs at that point. I'm not going to pick too much on it. Sacks. Calais Campbell had a sack. Emmanuel Ogbah had a sack. And Zach Sealer had a sack. We had 3 sacks in this game. 4 tackles for loss. Fantastic game by our defensive line. Chop Robinson had a tackle. He had kind of an ineffective game. I was hoping this would be that game where Chop would get 1 or 2 tackles, or sacks, I'm sorry. It didn't quite happen that way, so I guess that's one thing I missed on. I picked Johnny Smith. I picked Chop Robinson to have a huge game here, and he kind of had a serviceable game. Like I said, they used Chop Robinson to set the edges a lot in this game, so he wasn't really looking to do much except for contain Gardner Minshew and any outside runs. So good game by the defense all around. I know they allowed some yards, but they put it down when they needed to, and they made the stops when it had to happen at the end of the game. They did what needed to happen to win it, and they only allowed 19 points. Like I said, if we can allow under 20 points a game, our defense, if they can do that, there's not many games that we're going to lose because the way our offense is playing, we're putting up the points to make these wins. So, I want to say, I do want to offer up a real big set of flowers to a player on the Raiders. Well, a couple. I mean, Brock Bowers had 13 catches for 127 yards and a touchdown. We could not stop Brock Bowers. The guy was unguardable. Fantastic game by Brock Bowers. Got to give him his credit there. Here's your flowers, buddy. You deserve them. Well played game. I wish that, I bet you wish that a lot of other players on your team were doing the same kind of thing, but I digress. And I did mention Gardner Minshew had a good game. He did have that one pick at the end, but at that point he was really trying to make things happen, so you can't really blame him there being down 15 points or whatever it was that they were down at that point. Gardner Minshew had a good game. On defense, this is the one that I wanted to mention. Jack Jones. In this game, Jack Jones, he used to play for the Patriots back in the day, and when he went over here to the Raiders, it kind of got flushed under the radar like it wasn't a big deal. Jack Jones had a great game. Now it says 7 total tackles, 6 solo, and 1 tackle for a loss. But here's the deal. Those tackles seem to always be at the perfect moment. Like when his entire team had no idea what the Dolphins were doing, Jack Jones was that one guy that knew exactly where the play was going to go. And he was making tackles. He didn't miss tackles in this game. So Jack Jones, here's your flowers, buddy. I know he got hurt there at the end of the game. I hope he's okay. Nobody wants to see that happen, especially me. I recognize when a team or when a player, even if it's the other team, has a great game. So I wanted to offer those flowers up to Jack Jones and Brock Bowers and Gardner Minshew. They had great games, and you can't really put this loss on them. I will say that in this game, it was strange. 34-19 was the score. Now that's 4 games in a row the Dolphins scored over 24 points. You love to see us get over 30 points for the first time this season. The Raiders did play decent defense. It's just they could not stop us on these long sustained drives. The Dolphins scored on every single possession in this game, except for the one where there was a minute, a few seconds left at the half. That was the only one, because that was the half expiring. Other than that, they scored on every single drive. And not only that, but we were putting touchdowns on the board. At the end there, we needed to come out and get a touchdown and lead the team down the field to get a win, to seal this, and that's exactly what he did. He took us down the field, and multiple times actually, finding Johnny there for that huge 50-something yard pass at the end of the game to win it, to get that touchdown, and then driving us down the field, and then Achane gets his touchdown at the end of that one. And like I said, that touchdown at the end is the epitome of what our offensive line did this game. Watch the plays. Watch our offensive line in this game. They played magnificent. Even Liam Eichenberg had a good game. Now, I don't know the ratings, and I'm going to have to go back and look at the individual plays, which I promise I will, because I want to see I want to watch our individual linemen in this game because, as a whole, our line played amazing. But I want to see exactly what happened on these plays, and I want to see exactly how well they played because I think they played really well watching it. But I'm going to have to watch the plays again to see exactly how well. So, like I said, got to give flowers to our offensive line. They played a hell of a game. Got to give flowers to Tua. 3 touchdowns, 280 yards. Fantastic. High percentage, high QBR. Fantastic game for Tua. Great game by Devon Achane, getting those hard-fought yards when we said we needed them. Exactly what needed to happen. We needed to run between the tackles. We did that. We needed to score touchdowns on every play, pretty much, on every possession. We did that. We needed an interception, some kind of a turnover on defense. We got that. We needed our offensive line to step up. We got that. We needed our cornerbacks to step up, and they did. The only person who had a good game on offense for the Raiders was Bowers. Everybody else was in check. Jalen Ramsey had a great game. Storm Duck came in and made some great plays at the end of that game. Storm Duck was there the whole game. Kader Kohu played a great game. Our cornerback room did great. Safeties, you didn't hear much from them, but that's because our corners were making tackles. So, like I said, great game all around. You love to see it. As a Dolphins fan, this should give you some encouragement. For the first time in this season, we have 2 wins in a row. And not just 2 wins, 2 great wins. 2 good wins. Where our team played like you want them to play. I can't say much negative. Like I said, other than the fumble that Tua had when he was trying to extend a play, I'm not going to push too hard on that, folks. I can't. And I can't say, here's what really has me going here is, I can't even say that the Raiders played a terrible game. Because I don't think they did. I think that our offense was just that much better than their defense. I think that our offense was unstoppable. I really wish that we can continue down this road with this. I hope that we can continue to get better in this respect. And like I said, I can't complain about the defense allowing 19 points. I'm not gonna. Defense played well. They allowed some yards, but they didn't break. Anthony Weaver made some adjustments at the half. And while, like I said, Brock Bowers was all over the field, he was the one that was all over the field, and that was it. And if they're only putting up 19 points, I mean, I can't even hate too much on that. So I'm not. I'm not going to pick on Anthony Weaver here either. He called a good game. Which brings me to my next point, Mike McDaniel. This is the 4th game in a row that Mike McDaniel has called a fantastic game. Even issuing a challenge. I mean, it ended up being where as soon as he threw the flag, they blew the play dead, and then they didn't even make him use the challenge because they decided to correct it anyway. But Mike McDaniel made great play calls. He called a good game start to finish. Those plays that needed to be called, that you were sitting there thinking, oh, please don't do this here, Mike McDaniel. Guess what he didn't do? He didn't do that. He made a smart offensive play call the whole game. So congratulations to Mike McDaniels. There's your flower, Mike McDaniels. That is the first time I've ever said that. Oh, bad Dirk. Mike McDaniel had a great game. So in this game, I would love to be in that locker room and see where these game balls end up going. You got to think a game ball goes to Jalen Ramsey for the way he played in this game. You could pick out a game ball for Calais Campbell or Zach Sealer. You know, our middle linebackers played a fantastic game. I wanted to say that too. Especially since we have new players in our middle linebacker room, I feel like they really stepped up this week. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I have no complaints in this game. There are things they could have done better, but I have no complaints. You're not going to hear them from me. Nope, that was exactly what I wanted to see. That was exactly what we needed to see as Dolphins fans. A blowout win. Something that they did the things they needed to do. They played well on offense and defense, and look what happens. You can't ask for much better than that, guys. So what do you guys think? I mean, like I said, this if you go back and look at my preview, everything that I said that needed to happen happened, and you can't, like I said, I can't complain. That puts us at 4-6 for the season, and we are looking at a 34-19 victory over the Raiders. The one commenter on my post that said that the Raiders were going to win 37-14 or whatever. Like and subscribe, buddy. um, it was a good game for Miami, and like I said, I did give my flowers out to the players on the Raiders that had a great game. Antonio Pierce, it's hard because I'm not one of those guys that really hates the Raiders very much. I've always kind of liked the Raiders. I always hope that they win when they're not playing Miami or if it's not a playoff situation. Um, I think that they played a lot better this week. I think that Norv Turner and his son running that offense is gonna do good things for them, and I think it's gonna help Gardner Minshew for sure. So if you're a Raiders fan and you're watching this, don't don't be discouraged by this game. You guys saw a lot of things in this game that you haven't seen from the Raiders all year. Be encouraged by that. I'm not here to talk trash about the Raiders. Like I said, I gave my flowers to the players there. I gave my flowers to the Raiders offensive coaching and to the Raiders head coach as well. Always liked Antonio Pierce. He was a player to now, always liked him. I feel like the players respect him, and I feel like Raiders, if you guys keep playing like that, you're going to get some wins in this season, and it's not going to be as glum as you guys think. Things will be looking up for you. So, good game, Las Vegas Raiders. Um, Better luck next time. I hope you nothing but success for you guys in the future. And I can't really say that about a lot of teams in the NFL, but I do like what's happening in Las Vegas, especially after their bye and when they let go some of those offensive coaches and brought in the Turners. I This is going to be a good thing for you guys. Um, and I mentioned Brock Bowers who had a great game, and I didn't mention Michael Meyer. Um, he played well too. Obviously, most of the passes ended up going to Brock Bauer, but Michael Meyer is a great player, and he wasn't supposed to be playing in this game, and he came out and played. So I was actually kind of glad to see him out there playing. Another one of those players that I like a lot. So it wasn't a terrible game by the Raiders. Robert Spillane led the team with 11 tackles, 5 solos. Um, Jack Jones was number two, like I said. Also, Darnay Holmes had 7 tackles as well as Jack Jones. Um, Max Crosby had 5 tackles, 3 solo, no sacks and no tackles for loss for Max Crosby. And as far as Max Crosby goes, they did exactly what I said they should do. Find out where he's going to be and go to the opposite side of him. There was even a few plays where they went right at him, and you love to see it as a Dolphins fan. You love to see it as a Miami fan who's constantly being told that your team is soft. Soft teams don't run the ball between the tackles with Max Crosby on the line. Soft teams don't run like that. This Dolphins team is not the soft team that they have been in the past. And it might just be because of the way this season started out for us. It might just be because we had to find a whole new way to play this football game. And we've been playing it and winning. So, fantastic game for the Miami Dolphins. I got to give my props to just about everybody on the team. Game ball needs to go to every single one of those offensive linemen, for sure. So, with that, and with that discussion on how that game went, I want to talk about our standings because now that we've had the Raiders lose and the Patriots and the Jets lose, we're looking at some interesting things here. So that puts Miami firmly in second place at 4 wins and 6 losses. The Bills are obviously in first at 8-2. The New York Jets are 3 wins and 8 losses, and so are the Patriots. So the Patriots and the Jets are in last place. The Jets have the tiebreaker over the Patriots, so they're in third technically. Other than the fact that the Bills have a 4-game lead on on Miami in this division. I'm going to say it, but I'm not telling you that's going to happen. I'm going to say that it is not over for the AFC East. Crazier things have happened. And in this 9-step process that I've discussed, where we have finished step 1 and step 2 of that 9-step process by getting 2 wins, a little bit of help from the Bills losing a few games, and you never know. But I'm not going to say that. All I'm focused on is winning the next game, next game, next game, next game. Right now, we beat the Rams. We beat the Raiders. Now we play the Patriots at home. So next week, starting tonight, it's Patriots week. So I'll have some videos coming out this week for you guys about the Patriots week, just kind of like I did with the Bills game. It's always an interesting week when we have our division matchups. The Dolphins did squeak one out in Foxborough for the first game this season against the Patriots, and they got that win. This one becomes the next in our list of things that we need to do. This is step 3 of the greatest story ever told, the real greatest story ever told. Step 3 is beating the Patriots at our home in Miami Gardens. This is when it needs to happen. So I'll get into all of that starting probably. I might put out a video on Monday, but it'll likely be Tuesday, and that'll begin the discussion about Patriots week. Obviously, the Patriots are not someone to take lightly just because of how their quarterback is and the fact that they're playing teams tough. I don't look too much at a record when I'm looking at a matchup against another team, especially in a division matchup. So we'll get into all that later. But I did want to mention, as far as the conference goes, now that's a big win for Miami moving forward. And like I said, we do need to do a lot more things, and a little bit of help along the way would be great. But right now, and this is before the Sunday night game and a few games here, but as of right now, the Dolphins are 9th in the conference, in the AFC. 9th. There is the Colts are in 8th, and the Denver Broncos are in 7th. Now, depending on how things play out this week, this is kind of what the video on Monday or Tuesday is going to be talking about, is the division, the conference, and the games that we have coming up for week 12. So, but right now, moving up that list, and it's not looking as bleak as it was, now sitting at 4-6. Miami Dolphins fans, it's not over. Our team needs our support. Oh, Miami Dolphins don't even hear fans. They don't even. Football teams don't care about. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Football teams hear what we say. Football teams know what we're feeling and what we're thinking. Do you think there's a player on that Miami Dolphins roster that thinks that NFL fans deserve mediocrity? No. Say what you want about Stephen Ross. Do you think that he thinks that the team that he owns was putting out a good product in the beginning of the season? Do you think he was satisfied with making the playoffs the last 2 years? I don't. I don't think that at all. I think that they know. And I think that they want it too. And I think that this team is taking the steps and making the effort to get better every week. And if we keep getting better every week, we're going to keep seeing W's show up in that win column. So, step 2 is complete. Miami Dolphins beat the Las Vegas Raiders 34-19. All around great game by the Miami Dolphins. I hope they enjoy their Monday off after this short week that they had after the game against the Rams, and then moving straight into playing the Raiders. Hopefully they have a good Monday off and a good break, and I want to see them show up on Tuesday to film sessions, start getting better. I want to see them practice all week and get better at practice, and I want to see a product that's even better show up at Miami Gardens next Sunday against the division rival New England Patriots. Thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for giving a listen to all my stammering and stuttering and ranting about my favorite team in the whole wide world. If you're not a Dolphins fan, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment what you think about the Dolphins if you're not a Dolphins fan. If you're a Dolphins fan, do the same. Tell your friends about me. Give me some recognition for Give me my flowers for being right about this pregame the keys to victory and what we needed to do. Oh, I couldn't even say it without laughing. Holy cow. You don't got to do all that, but thanks for checking it out. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching. Have a great rest of your Sunday and a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys in a couple days with the next video. Thanks. Fins up.